To escape the suffocating control of that icy female CEO, I meticulously staged an accident and played dead. I lived like a king for 2 years, right up until I accepted a courier job for $2,000. When the door opened, there she was, staring at me with eyes cold enough to freeze hell over. Hiding behind her was a little kid with a milky voice calling me Dada. I think I just walked into a trap. My name is Jack Turner, and I'm a glorious gig economy hustler. 2 years ago, I was a respectable man of society. But for the sake of freedom, I chose to die. That carefully orchestrated yacht accident allowed me to evaporate completely from my ex-girlfriend Victoria Sterling's world. She was an iceberg and a control freak to boot. What I ate at 7 a.m., what pajamas I wore at 9:00 p.m., she managed it all. I loved her, but I loved my freedom more. So I ran. For 2 years, I changed cities, swapped my phone number, and got a fake ID. I was living the dream. Until today, when a high-value order popped up on my Taskmaster app. Same day, rush delivery. One document. Completion bonus. $2,000. My eyes nearly popped out. $2,000 for delivering a piece of paper. Is money growing on trees these days? Although the address was in the Olympus, the city's most expensive and slightly eerie gated community, the temptation of $2,000 silenced my doubts. I grabbed the order. I hopped on my beloved e-bike and sped off like lightning. Whistling a tune, I thought about hitting the spa and getting the deluxe package once I got paid. Even the gods wouldn't trade places with me right now. When I arrived at the penthouse of Tower A at the Olympus, 2 bodyguards in black suits stood at the door like iron towers. My heart skipped a beat. Just for a document. This level of security? Is this some kind of mob deal? I swallowed hard and forced myself forward. Delivery. I have a document. One of the bodyguards glanced at me expressionlessly and made a pleased gesture. The door, equipped with a smart lock, clicked open automatically. I took a deep breath, thinking I just grabbed the cash and bolt. I pushed the door open and froze. The living room was obscenely large, with floor-to-ceiling windows framing the city's night skyline. A woman stood with her back to me, looking out the window. That familiar black business suit, that cold, proud silhouette. I'd recognize that back, even if it were turned to ash. Victoria Sterling. My blood froze instantly, a chill shooting from my heels to the top of my skull. Holy shit, is this $2,000 my funeral money? My mind went blank, and my only thought was to run. I spun around violently, ready to dash out of this gate of hell. But the moment I turned, a soft, sticky voice drifted from beside Victoria's legs. Mama, is that Dada? I stiffened in place, as if hit by a petrification spell. Dada. Mechanically, inch by inch, I turned my head back. A little boy in teddy bear pajamas, looking like he was carved from jade, peeked his head out from behind Victoria. He blinked a pair of large, dark eyes, looking at me with curiosity. That face, those brows. It was a carbon copy of me as a child. My brain buzzed and completely crashed. Victoria slowly turned around. That breathtakingly beautiful face, one I hadn't seen in 2 years, but visited my dreams every night, held no ripple of emotion. She just watched me quietly, her gaze colder than a Siberian winter. After a long silence, her red lips parted slightly, her voice devoid of warmth. Jack Turner, you're not dead. Good. Watching the icy smile at the corner of her mouth, my legs went soft, and I nearly knelt right there. Bang! The door behind me was slammed shut by the 2 bodyguards. I heard the lock engage. I also heard the sound of my good life coming to a complete end. Miss Sterling, you've got the wrong person. My throat was dry, and I squeezed the words through my teeth, my smile uglier than a cry. Ha! You idiot, still trying to deny it. Your son is standing right there. I mentally cursed myself, but the instinct to survive forced me to struggle. My name is Bill Richmond, not Jack Turner. I'm just a delivery guy, I said, pointing emphatically at the name tag on my vest. I'd spent $10 making it at a roadside stall, just for emergencies. Victoria didn't speak. She elegantly walked to the sofa, sat down, and crossed her legs. The little guy beside her trotted over on his short legs, tap, 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 and hugged my calf. Dada. Uppy. The little guy looked up, grinning at me, drool practically dripping. I looked down at this small face that was so unmistakably mine, and it felt like a giant hand had squeezed my heart. This is my son? Mine and Victoria's? When did this happen? How'd I not know? His name is Noah. He's 2 years old. Victoria's voice drifted over, hauntingly, as if stating a fact that had nothing to do with her. Nickname Peanut. Noah. As in the Ark? Salvation? Or maybe a new beginning. My heart trembled, and an indescribable emotion welled up. I I don't know what you're talking about. I was still stubborn, trying to pry the little guy's hands off my leg. But he held on for dear life, rubbing his face against me. That ass smells good. I wanted to cry. Bro, you're my literal brother. Please stop shouting. Your dad is about to be ground into dust by your mom. Victoria picked up a document from the coffee table and tossed it lightly in front of me. Read it. I picked it up, my hands shaking. The bold words on the cover. Paternity test report. I flipped to the back and saw the final column. Based on the analysis, the probability of paternity between Jack Turner and Noah Sterling is 99.99%. Attached to the report was a photo. It was a sample of the blood I'd given during a physical exam before I died. I understood instantly. Everything made sense. When I died, she was already pregnant. And I, the scumbag, had run away. 2 years ago, the yacht you were on was found. There was only your blood, no body. Victoria's voice betrayed no anger or joy. I knew someone like you, a cockroach, would survive the apocalypse. I opened my mouth, but couldn't say a word. Shame, regret, and a bone-deep fear drowned me. I spent 2 years and $15 million. She held up 2 slender fingers. I hacked into the systems of every courier platform, food delivery service, and logistics center in the 13 cities where you might be hiding. I set up a filter. Any account matching your behavioral patterns would be flagged. For example, you only take orders over $500, never are late, and never accept deliveries to hospitals because you're afraid of exposing your DNA. I listened, cold sweat pouring down my back. This woman is a demon. This $2,000 order was the final bait. I bet on your greed and your arrogance. I won. She finished, stood up, and walked toward me step by step. High heels on the floor. Click, click, click. Each step felt like it was stomping on my heart. She stopped in front of me, looking down. Jack, welcome home. Finally, a smile appeared on her face. A smile that made my blood run cold. I'm done for. This time it's really over. I was invited into the guest room. They called it a guest room, but it was bigger than the master bedroom of my rental. However, the windows were welded shut, the door had a keypad lock, and only Victoria knew the code. 2 black-suited bodyguards stood watch outside 24 hours a day. I, Jack Turner, a man who pursued freedom, had become a prisoner. Dada, ichi. Peanut wobbled in, holding a small bowl, accompanied by a nanny. The bowl contained a nutritious kid's meal, carrots carved into little star shapes. I looked at him, feeling a mix of emotions. This is my son. I missed 2 years of his life. Thanks, Peanut. I rubbed his head, my voice a bit hoarse. You're welcome. Mama said if I feed you, you'll have the strength to get a spanking. Peanut said in his milky voice. Me? I looked at his innocent face and wanted to pinch myself to see if I was dreaming. Victoria, what on earth have you been teaching my son? That night, Victoria came in. She had changed into a silk robe, her long hair let down, losing some of the day's sharpness and gaining a bit of feminine allure. But I didn't dare have any improper thoughts. I knew this woman was a rose with thorns, the poison kind. She was holding a document. Another document. I shake whenever I see documents now. Sign it. She threw the document at me. Co-parenting cooperation agreement. I flipped it open, and my eyes nearly popped out of their sockets. Article 1. Party B, Jack Turner, must remain within a designated range of Party A, Victoria Sterling, 24 hours a day, and shall not leave a 10-meter radius without permission. Article 2. Party B must report a detailed itinerary to Party A daily, accurate to the minute, including but not limited to bathroom breaks and duration. Article 3. All communication devices of Party B must be monitored by Party A. Article 4. Party B is obligated to cooperate with Party A in completing all parent-child activities regarding Noah Sterling. External identity to be designated by Party A. Dense text, totaling 99 clauses. This wasn't a parenting agreement. This was an indentured servitude contract. A lifetime one. I won't sign. I threw the agreement on the floor. A man can be killed, but not humiliated. Even if I, Jack Turner, have to jump from here and die outside, I will never sign this treaty of humiliating surrender. Victoria didn't even look at the agreement on the floor. She simply pulled out her phone and played a recording. Hey, Mom, it's me, Jack. I'm not dead. I'm living the good life, don't worry. It was the call I secretly made to my mom yesterday, using the nanny's phone. She had bugged it. Your mother has a heart condition, right? Victoria said lightly. Tell me, if I send her a video of how you've been living it up for the past 2 years while abandoning your wife and child, would she survive it? I shook with rage, pointing at her, unable to form a word. Blood rushed to my head, exploding, while my insides felt like they'd been doused in ice water. This woman had grabbed me by the throat. Despicable. I squeezed the word out through my teeth. You flatter me. Victoria remained expressionless. Sign, or I have a courier deliver the flash drive to your mother's house right now. She issued the ultimatum. I looked at her icy face, hatred burning in my heart. I really wanted to scratch that perfect face, but I couldn't. I took a deep breath, then another. I slowly bent down, picked up the agreement, and picked up the pen she had thrown. Jack Turner, a man of iron will. Faced with reality, I chose cowardice. I scribbled my signature with a flourish. Once signed, I threw the pen down. Victoria, you're ruthless. Thank you. She collected the agreement and turned to leave. At the door, she suddenly stopped and glanced back. By the way, I forgot to tell you. Article 100 of the agreement. All expenses for food, lodging, and security incurred by Party B during the agreement period will be deducted from the $15 million you owe me. Interest is calculated daily. With that, she closed the door. I stood frozen for a full 10 seconds. Then, I heard a wail from my own soul. $15 million? Holy crap. My life as a prisoner began just like that. Every morning at 6 a.m., Peanut would punctually pry my eyelids open. Dad out. Mama said sleepyheads don't get breakfast. I was dragged up, sporting bedhead and feeling like death. Then, under Victoria's supervision, I brushed my teeth, washed my face, and ate breakfast. She sat across from me, sipping coffee and watching me with scrutiny. It gave me indigestion. Jack, your itinerary for this morning is to build Legos with Noah. She put down her coffee cup, her tone allowing no refusal. In the afternoon, take him to his early education class. In the evening, read him bedtime stories. Any objections? What objection could I have? Did I dare have any? I shook my head like a rattle drum. Good. She nodded with satisfaction and got up to go to work. As soon as she left, I collapsed into the chair. This is the freedom I yearned for? I'd rather go back to delivering takeout. I screamed internally. Dada, let's build the big spaceship. Peanut held a massive Lego box, looking at me with excitement. I looked at the thousands of pieces, my scalp tingling. But meeting my son's expectant gaze, I could only bite the bullet. The afternoon early education class left me physically and mentally exhausted. A group of 2- and 3-year-olds jumping around, howling like wolves. And me, a 200-pound child, mixed among them, receiving weird looks from other parents. Excuse me, sir, are you the child's father? An enthusiastic older lady leaned in to ask. I was about to nod when I remembered Victoria's warning. Externally, you are just the child care specialist I hired. Oh, no, I'm his uncle. I laughed awkwardly. Uncle. The lady looked skeptical. I think you two look exactly alike. Really? Ha ha. Coincidence. Total coincidence. My laugh was uglier than crying. Peanut heard this and pouted unhappily. You're not uncle. You're my dada. His shout silenced the entire classroom. Everyone's eyes swished to focus on me. I felt my face burning. I wished a crack would open in the floor so I could crawl in. This was a legendary, massive social death scene. I grabbed Peanut and fled under the complex gazes of the crowd. Back home, I locked myself in my room, feeling like my soul had left my body. When Victoria came back, I was practically a salted fish. I heard you were quite majestic at the early education center today. She leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, looking at me with a half smile. The nanny definitely snitched. Don't talk nonsense. I struggled weakly. Noah told me everything. She walked into the room and tossed a card to me. Tomorrow, take him to the amusement park. This is a secondary card. No spending limit. I looked at the black card, stunned. Victoria, what exactly do you want? I couldn't help asking. Is locking me up here and torturing me amusing to you? She walked up to me, leaned down, and looked straight in my eyes. We were close enough to smell the faint, cold fragrance on her, exactly as I remembered. Torturing you? She suddenly smiled, a desolate smile. Jack, do you know that the night you died, I sat alone all night holding a pregnancy test with 2 lines? Do you know I faced a boardroom coup with a huge belly, almost losing the company? Do you know Noah was premature and stayed in an incubator for a month? Do you know how many critical condition notices I signed? Her voice trembled, and her eyes turned red. The Ice Queen CEO, forever calm and composed, revealed a fragile side to me for the first time. My heart felt like it had been stabbed hard. It hurt so much I couldn't breathe. I looked at her red-rimmed eyes, wanting to say something, but found my throat blocked with cotton. Jack, I'm not torturing you. I'm teaching you how to be a father. With that, she straightened up, restored her icy demeanor, and turned to leave the room. I sat alone on the bed, staring at the black card in my hand, silent for a long time. The night outside the window was deep and heavy. The next day, I escorted Peanut to the city's biggest amusement park. Trailing behind were two bodyguards in black suits, terrified I'd run off with the kid. With this entourage, people probably thought a foreign prince was visiting. Dada, I want to ride that. Peanut pointed excitedly at the giant Ferris wheel. I looked at the thing towering into the clouds, my legs going weak. I have acrophobia. Victoria knows this. Sending me to the amusement park was definitely intentional. Revenge, naked revenge. Peanut, that's too high, it's dangerous. How about the merry-go-round? I tried to negotiate. No, I want to go high. Peanut unleashed his ultimate move, throwing a tantrum on the ground. My head felt like it was splitting. Tourists around us cast caring glances. I could hear people whispering. How does that young man parent? Won't even let the kid ride a Ferris wheel. Exactly, look how pitiful that child is. I couldn't defend myself. Fine, we'll ride it. I'll risk my life for my son. With the mindset of a martyr, I took Peanut onto the Ferris wheel. The cabin rose slowly, and my heart jumped into my throat. My palms were sweaty, my calves cramping. Wow, so high. Dada, look, the houses got small. Peanut was glued to the window, his face pressed against the glass. I didn't dare look down, eyes closed, chanting under my breath. Hail Mary, Buddha, Jesus, save me. Dada, are you scared? Peanut turned his head, looking at me curiously. Who's scared? Your dad isn't afraid of anything. I was stubborn as a mule. Then why are you shaking? I'm cold, but it's 85 degrees today. I was rendered speechless by my own son. The cabin reached the highest point, and I felt my soul about to fly away. Just then, Peanut suddenly leaned over and planted a wet kiss on my cheek. Smack! Dada, don't be scared. Peanut, protect you. He wrapped his small arms tightly around my arm, his face serious. In that instant, the softest part of my heart felt gently touched. All the fear seemed to vanish. I opened my eyes, looking at the magnificent scenery outside, and at this tiny little guy who wanted to protect me. I suddenly felt that the Ferris wheel wasn't so scary after all. Coming down from the ride, I felt reborn. In the afternoon, we went on every ride. Peanut's laughter, like silver bells, sprinkled across the entire park. Seeing him so happy, my heart felt warm. So this is what being a dad feels like. Exhausting but satisfying. That evening when we got home, Peanut was already asleep in my arms. I carefully placed him on the bed and tucked him in. Looking at his sleeping face, I couldn't help but lean down and kiss his forehead. Good night, son. I walked out of the room and saw Victoria standing in the living room. She seemed to be waiting for me. You're back, she said. Yeah, have fun. It was okay. The atmosphere was a bit awkward. Thanks for the card. I handed the black card to her. She didn't take it. I gave it to you. Keep it. All of Noah's future expenses will come from that. I paused. Victoria, what is your game here? First the contract, now the card. What do you want from me? She was silent for a moment, then walked to the wine cabinet and poured herself a glass of red wine. Jack, let's talk. She swirled the wine in the glass, her gaze a bit unfocused. What is there to talk about between us, besides Noah? I laughed self-deprecatingly. Talk about you. She turned around, looking at me. Tomorrow, my company is hosting a gala. Many old friends will be there. You will attend with me as my date. My pupils dilated. Are you crazy? Everyone thinks I'm dead. I said attend as my date. I didn't say attend as Jack Turner. She took a sip of wine and said lightly, change your look, change your name. Just say you're my newly hired bodyguard. Me? Victoria, you really know how to insult a guy. The next day, I was pinned to a chair by several stylists and tormented from head to toe. Hair cut, beard shaved, and forced to wear a pair of gold-rimmed glasses. Finally, I changed into a sharp black suit. While I looked at myself in the mirror, I barely recognized me. The man in the mirror was handsome, refined, with a hint of melancholy in his eyes. Holy crap, is this still me? Where did this stoic, handsome guy come from? I silently gave myself a thumbs up. Not bad. Victoria's voice came from behind. She was wearing a silver evening gown that outlined her perfect figure, her hair swept up to reveal a swan-like neck. Noble, cold, like a queen who doesn't eat common food. I admit for a second I stared. Remember, your name is Jay. You're my personal bodyguard. She reminded me coldly, pulling me back from my fantasy. Your job is to stay by my side and never leave. Talk less, do more. Understood, boss. I went with the flow. The gala was filled with expensive clothes and clinking glasses. As soon as Victoria appeared, she became the center of attention. Countless men tried to approach her, but were repelled by her icy aura. I followed behind her like a dutiful shadow. Being a bodyguard isn't bad. At least I don't have to deal with these fake people. While I was spacing out, I kept a vigilant watch on the surroundings. Victoria, long time no see. A slick-haired man holding a wine glass walked over. I recognized him. Brad Kingsley, a trust fund baby. He chased Victoria all through college, and I beat him up several times. Mr. Kingsley, Victoria Nadi Fantli. And this is... Brad's gaze landed on me, carrying a mix of scrutiny and disdain. My bodyguard, Victoria said. Bodyguard? Brad laughed, a very punchable laugh. Victoria, your taste is getting more unique. Can this pretty boy type actually stop a bullet? He looked me up and down, his eyes frivolous. I frowned. Jackass, when I beat you up back then, you didn't call me a pretty boy. I cursed internally, but my face remained expressionless. I'm a professional, Mr. Kingsley, you jest. I bowed slightly, my tone humble. My duty is mainly to shield the boss from unwanted romantic advances. As I spoke, I subtly took a step forward, placing myself exactly between Brad and Victoria. Brad's face changed instantly. You, Mr. Kingsley, as you know, our boss has too much charisma. Flies always come uninvited. I adjusted my gold-rimmed glasses, smiling harmlessly. I'm doing this for your safety. If you get too close and get burned by the boss's charm, we can't afford the liability. I heard a very soft laugh from behind me. It was Victoria. She actually laughed. Brad's face had turned the color of raw liver. He pointed at me, too angry to speak. You, a mere bodyguard dares to speak to me like that. Apologies, Mr. Kingsley. I only listen to my boss. I spread my hands, looking innocent. Victoria, you just let your servant act like this. Brad turned to complain to Victoria. Victoria took an elegant sip of champagne, not even glancing at him. What Jay said is what I wanted to say. Mr. Kingsley, if there's nothing else, excuse us. She finished, took my arm, and turned to walk away, leaving Brad standing there, utterly bewildered. When we reached a secluded corner, Victoria let go of my hand. Not bad, Jack. She looked at me, her eyes holding emotions I couldn't read. 2 years unseen, your mouth has gotten sharper. Boss taught me well, I said modestly. However, she changed the subject. Who told you to take initiative? I was just fulfilling a bodyguard's duty. Is that so? She leaned in, her eyes sharp. The way you looked at him just now didn't look like a bodyguard. What did it look like? Like you were looking at a rival in love. My heart skipped a beat, and I quickly denied it. Boss, you're overthinking it. I just purely find him annoying. Really? She smiled meaningfully and didn't press further. Halfway through the gala, I used the restroom as an excuse to sneak onto the balcony for fresh air. While smoking, a familiar figure walked over. Jacko, is that you? I turned around. It was my college best friend, Chucky Miller. My heart sank. Crap, how did I forget about him? His family is in business too. He'd definitely be at an event like this. You got the wrong person. I lowered my voice, turning to leave. Stop pretending. I'd recognize you even if you were Ash. Chucky grabbed me. Where the hell have you been for 2 years? We all thought you were fish food. He punched me excitedly. How do I explain? Say I'm Jack's twin brother, Mac? Or say I was abducted by aliens and just got back. Just as my brain was spinning at high speed, Victoria's voice rang out behind us like a ghost. What are you two doing? Chucky and I froze simultaneously. I could feel Victoria's gaze, like 2 ice daggers scraping back and forth over us. Beak. Victoria. Seeing Victoria, Chucky acted like a mouse seeing a cat, instantly shrinking. His family's company had contracts with hers, and his dad had warned him 1,000 times never to offend this Iron Lady. We were just catching up, Chucky stammered. Catching up. Victoria isn't it? You know him well. Well? Too well. He's my best brother from college, Jack Turner. Chucky blurted out. He regretted it as soon as he said it, because he saw Victoria's face drop another 8 degrees. And I had already started calculating how high the grass on my grave should grow. Chucky, you idiot. I treat you like a brother, and you sell me out a heartbeat. Jack Turner. Victoria looked at me, emphasizing each syllable. Isn't his name Jay? Chucky froze. Jay? What Jay? He looked at me, then at Victoria, completely confused. Oh, he suddenly had an epiphany. I get it. This is some role-play thing you couple are doing, right? Faking death, amnesia, the domineering CEO, and her little bodyguard. Nice one, Jacko. You really know how to play. He winked at me, wearing a lewd, I understand grin. Me? I really wanted to kick him off the balcony. Chuck Miller. Victoria's voice had turned to ice. You can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. I have absolutely no relationship with him. Chucky shivered at her powerful aura. Right, Victoria is right. I drank too much, wrong person. He waved his hands frantically. Sorry, handsome. You just look too much like my dead friend. He patted my shoulder theatrically, then turned tail and bolted. On the balcony, only Victoria and I remained. Dead silence. I felt the air solidifying. Jack, you're quite popular, she finally spoke after a long while. Run into anyone, and they can't forget you. I heard the sourness in her tone. Fair to middling, I guess, I said, biting the bullet. Seems like I locked you up too tight, she suddenly said. My heart jumped with joy. What? Did she find a conscience? Is she setting me free? Starting tomorrow, you'll work at my company. The smile on my face froze instantly. Work? What work? My driver. She looked at me, her mouth curving into a cruel arc. And 24-hour personal bodyguard, as well as Noah's exclusive driver and playmate. 3 jobs, 1 salary. Of course, the salary will be slowly deducted from the $15 million you owe me. My vision went dark. Victoria, you are not human. You are the devil. You're going to squeeze me dry. My status upgraded from prisoner to the CEO's exclusive driver / bodyguard / son's playmate. Every morning, I had to drop Peanut at preschool, then drive Victoria to the company, then stay on standby at the coffee shop downstairs all day, ready for orders. In the afternoon, after picking up Peanut, I had to take him to various extracurricular classes. At night, back home, I had to warm her bed. No, wait, read her son bedtime stories. I felt like I was living as a spinning top, going round and round. The only upside was my range of motion expanded from that luxury prison to the entire city. Although I was still wearing a watch with a GPS tracker that would scream if I left a 500-meter radius of Victoria, this was huge progress for me. The air of freedom, even just a sip, was sweet. I began secretly planning my second escape. I studied maps, calculated timings, and observed the bodyguard's shift patterns. I even started working out to build stamina for the run. Victoria seemed oblivious to my little maneuvers. She kept her iceberg face every day, ordering me around. But I could feel her surveillance loosening. At least she stopped bursting into my room at midnight to check if I was plotting a rebellion. One day, I took Peanut to his most hated piano lesson. The little guy sat on the bench, face scrunched up, 10 fingers mashing the keys chaotically. The noise was comparable to a construction site. The piano teacher, a gentle young woman, looked ready to cry. Noah, let's play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, okay? Do-re-mi. No, I want to play Ultraman. Peanut slapped the keys, producing a harsh crash. The teacher jumped. I couldn't watch anymore. I walked over and lifted Peanut down. Teacher, sorry, he's not feeling it today. We'll head back. Then, I carried him into the hallway. Noah Sterling. It was the first time I called him by his full name. He seemed scared by my serious expression, lips trembling, tears about to fall. I don't want to play piano, he whispered. Do you know how much money your mom spent for this lesson? Do you know how long the teacher prepared to teach you? You don't have to like it, but you can't disrespect someone's work. I was rarely this strict with him. Peanut stunned, big eyes filled with tears, but he held them back. Why? I asked softer. Because Mama likes it. I don't like the things Mama likes. I froze. Why? Because Mama always makes me do what she likes. She never asks if I like it. She makes me learn piano, painting, horse riding. But I just want to play in the mud. Looking at his small figure, I felt something block my chest. I seemed to see myself back then. I was the same, everything arranged by Victoria. Studying finance, which I hated. Wearing suits I disliked. Attending galas I didn't want to go to. I thought she was controlling me. It never occurred to me that she just wanted to give me what she thought was best. We were the same, loving each other in our own ways, but applying force in the wrong places. I crouched down and pulled him into my arms. Peanut, I'm sorry. Dad promises you from now on, if you want to play in the mud, Dad will play with you. We'll go dig for worms, throw stones in the river, okay? Really? Peanut looked up, eyes shining. Really? Pinky swear. Okay, Pinky swear. I extended my pinky and hooked it tight with his. That evening, I didn't go home. Instead, I took Peanut to a field in the suburbs, and we played in the mud all afternoon. We both ended up looking like mud monsters. But we both laughed harder than ever. When Victoria found us, it was already dark. She drove up, trailed by 2 black SUVs filled with bodyguards. It looked like a raid to catch an international fugitive. She got out, saw the 2 mud creatures, and her face went black. Jack Turner. The anger in her voice was practically spitting fire. I thought she would curse me out like before, but she just looked at us for a long time. Then she sighed. Get in the car. Let's go home. Her voice actually held a trace of exhaustion and helplessness. I was stunned. Is this the Victoria I know? Back home, I prepared for the storm. I even had my line ready. I did it. Don't yell at the kid. Come at me. As it turned out, Victoria didn't say a word. She just had the nanny draw us a bath, then silently went to her study. My heart was pounding. This wasn't normal. Too abnormal. With her personality, not hanging me up for a beating was letting me off easy. When things are unusual, something's up. After washing Peanut and tucking him in, I tiptoed to the study door. The door wasn't fully closed. A crack remained. I peeked inside. Victoria sat behind the desk, not reading files, not on the phone. She was just staring blankly at a picture frame on the desk. I recognized that frame. It was a photo of us from college. In the photo, I was grinning like an idiot, and she was leaning into my chest, her mouth showing a rare, gentle smile. She reached out, gently stroking my face in the photo. Her eyes were red. My heart ached. I suddenly realized that in the 2 years I ran away, she probably didn't have it easy. I only thought of my freedom, forgetting she was a person who could hurt and feel sad too. Just then, her phone rang. She picked it up, her voice instantly returning to ice. Hello. What is it? Understood. Proceed as planned. At all costs. She hung up, her gaze becoming incredibly sharp. My heart skipped a beat. What plan? At all costs. Could it be targeted at me? Terrified, I scurried back to my room, heart pounding. Crap. This woman is going to take me out. My second escape plan must be moved up. I didn't sleep all night, refining my escape route again. The next day, the opportunity came. Victoria had to go to a neighboring city for an important business negotiation, a day trip. She took most of the bodyguards, leaving only 2 at home to watch me. And, strangely, she didn't make me go with her. This was a godsend. I feigned a stomach ache and stayed in the bathroom for 30 minutes. Then, while the bodyguards weren't looking, I slid down from the second-floor window, using the bedsheet rope I prepared. Freedom. Here I come. I sprinted all the way out of the Villa District. I didn't dare take a car or the main roads, sticking to alleys. I ran for a full hour until I was sure I'd shaken everyone. I hid under a bridge, gasping for air. Though I looked a mess, I felt an unprecedented thrill. Goodbye, Victoria. Goodbye, my little rascal. Daddy is off to find the open road and greener pastures. I pulled out the backup phone I'd hidden, ready to buy a train ticket and fly far away. Just then, a news alert popped up on the phone. Local business tycoon, CEO of Sterling Group, Victoria Sterling, attacked by unidentified persons in neighboring city today. Vehicle plunged off cliff. Status unknown. I stared at the headline and the horrific photo of the crash site. My brain went boom, total whiteout. Smack. The phone dropped from my hand to the ground. Plunged off a cliff? Status unknown? Like a madman, I rushed out from under the bridge and flagged down a taxi. Go to the XX highway. Fast. My voice was shaking. The driver looked at me, scared by my pale face. Driver, please hurry. I'll pay you 10 times the fare. I was practically begging. I didn't know why I was going back. I just knew I had to. I couldn't let her die. Absolutely not. When I arrived at the scene, police tape was already up. The vehicle had been hoisted up, the front end completely crushed, unrecognizable. I tried to rush over like a maniac, but was blocked by police. Sir, please calm down. Rescue is in progress. Where is she? Where are the people in the car? I grabbed a cop, screaming at the top of my lungs. The victim has been sent to the city first hospital. Critical condition. My head buzzed. I turned and ran, flagging another car to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, the hallway outside the operating room was packed. The elders of the Sterling family, company executives, even Chucky and his dad. Everyone looked grave. Chucky saw me, eyes red. Jack, how are you here? How is she? My voice was raspy, unrecognizable. Still in resuscitation. Doctor said, excessive blood loss, 3 broken ribs, punctured the lung. Told us to prepare for the worst. Chucky said, tears falling. I felt the world spin, leaning against the wall to stand. Prepare for the worst. Prepare for what? No, impossible. That woman is a demon. How could she die so easily? I looked at the red light of the operating room, feeling my heart being crushed by an invisible hand. Pain, piercing pain. Images of us flashed through my mind. Her forcing me to eat carrots. The way she cried in front of me. The way she held my arm and smiled at me at the gala. It turns out, without knowing it, this woman had carved herself into my bones. I thought I loved freedom. Now I know, without her in the world, there is no freedom. It's all my fault. I slapped myself hard. If I had gone with her, this wouldn't have happened. If I had noticed her plan earlier, I could have warned her. I killed her. I squatted on the ground like a lost child, clutching my head in agony. Time ticked by. Every second felt as long as a century. Finally, the operating room light went out. The doctor walked out, removing his mask, face full of exhaustion. Everyone surrounded him. Doctor, how is my daughter? Victoria's father asked, trembling. The doctor shook his head. We did our best. The patient's will to survive was too weak. I felt the whole world go silent. I couldn't hear anything, couldn't see anything. My world collapsed. No. I roared, charging toward the operating room. Victoria, wake the hell up. Aren't you going to torture me? Don't you want to pay back the 15 million? Get up. If you die, what happens to me and Noah? You selfish woman. Get up. I threw myself against the operating room doors, pounding on them like a desperate beast. Just then, the door behind me suddenly opened. A nurse poked her head out, looking at me in terror. Sir, who are you looking for? I froze. I'm looking for Victoria Sterling. Didn't you say she? Victoria Sterling. The nurse looked confused. Oh, you mean CEO Sterling in the VIP ward next door? She's fine. Just some scratches. She's already awake. Me? I looked at the sign on this operating room again. Appendectomy surgery me. Mechanically, I turned my head and saw the door of a VIP ward at the end of the hall open. Victoria, wearing a hospital gown, walked out supported by bodyguards. Her face was a bit pale, but she looked spirited enough. She looked at me, and my swollen red eyes, and the clear handprint on my face. Then she smiled. Smiled like the cat that got the cream. Jack, how was my acting? Me, and everyone behind me, turned to stone. It took me a full 10 minutes to digest this twist worthy of a Hollywood blockbuster. The cliff plunge was fake. The car was a pre-prepared junker. The blood was chicken blood. The status unknown was fake news she released. Even though we did our best, Doctor was an actor she hired. All of this was a setup to test me, a trap she laid for me to jump into willingly. I looked at her, lips trembling for a long time before squeezing out a sentence. Victoria, are you out of your damn mind? I had never lost my composure like this in my life. In front of her parents, company execs, and my best friend, I screamed at her. She wasn't angry, just looking at me faintly. Now, do you still want to run? I fell silent. Run? Can I still run? My heart, my soul, had been hooked back by her performance just now. I looked at her pale face and the real scratches on her arm. I knew that to make the scene realistic, she had paid a price too. I felt angry and hateful, but mostly it was lingering fear and heartache, not running. I squeezed out 2 words. Never running again in this life. You win. She smiled. It was the most beautiful smile I'd ever seen on her. No coldness, no calculation, just a gentle relief. The people around us looked at us like we were idiots. Chucky's mouth was wide enough to fit an egg. Holy crap. Jack, Victoria, you guys, this is better than a soap opera. Victoria's father, an intimidating old man, coughed. Victoria, if you're done fooling around, come home. Jack, right? The old man turned his gaze to me. You come back with us too. Our Sterling family grandson cannot be without a father. Me? Well, there goes my last chance to resist. I was escorted back to the Sterling family estate. Not that villa, but the true, strict, fortress-like ancestral mansion. Victoria, Noah, and I stood in the center of the grand library. Dozens of Sterling family members surrounded us, watching like a tribunal. I felt like a monkey on display in a zoo. Speak. What happened? The old man sat in a high-backed leather chair, sipping tea, asking faintly. Victoria summarized the events of the past 2 years concisely. Of course, she omitted the details of me abandoning my wife and child and her setting a dragnet to catch me. Those unsavory parts. She just said we had a misunderstanding back then. I had amnesia for 2 years, and she only just found me. I roll my eyes internally. This woman's brain is wasted not being a screenwriter. Misunderstanding. The old man put down his teacup. I don't care about your misunderstandings. Now, there's a child. What do you two plan to do? I exchanged a glance with Victoria. I saw a hint of nervousness in her eyes. A sudden impulse surged in my heart. I took a deep breath and stepped forward. Grandpa. My addressing him as Grandpa stunned everyone. 2 years ago, I was a jerk. I wasn't a man. I failed Victoria, and I wronged Noah. Now, I want to make amends. I walked up to Victoria, and under everyone's shocked gaze, dropped to one knee. I had no ring, no flowers. I only had a heart that was lost and found, and never wanted to lose her again. Victoria. I looked up at her, incredibly serious. Before, I always felt you were like a cage, binding my freedom. Now I know, a world without you is my true cage. I don't want to run anymore. Will you? Give me another chance. Let's get married. The library went deadly silent. Everyone held their breath, looking at Victoria. Her eyes slowly turned red. Tears like broken pearls slid down her face. She didn't say yes or no. She just crouched down and hugged me tightly, so tightly. I heard her whisper in my ear, voice trembling with tears. Jack Turner, if you dare run again, I will break your legs. My wedding with Victoria was grand. Almost all the city's elite came. At the wedding, Chucky, as my best man, cried harder than I did. Jacko, you finally got married off. No, wait, took a wife. I thought you were going to be stuck with me forever. I kicked him in the butt. Get lost. The officiant was reciting the emotional vows on stage. Mr. Jack Turner, do you take Ms. Victoria Sterling to be your wife, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, to love her, care for her, respect her, accept her, and remain faithful to her until the end of your life? I looked at the woman in the wedding dress before me. She was insanely beautiful today. I smiled. I do. I absolutely do. Even if she forces me to sign contracts, threatens me with my mom, or locks me up like a canary, I do. As soon as I finished, the whole crowd erupted in laughter. Victoria's face turned red instantly, and she secretly pinched me. The officiant paused, then quickly smoothed it over. It seems our groom is quite humorous. So Ms. Victoria Sterling. Victoria glared at me and grabbed the microphone. I do. She said it with conviction. Whether he wants to fake his death or play amnesia in the future, I do. Anyway, even if he runs to the ends of the earth, I have the means to catch him. He is mine for this entire life. Her words were even more ruthless than mine. The crowd roared with laughter again. Watching her domineering yet cute demeanor, I couldn't help but pull her into my arms. Amidst everyone's blessings, we exchanged rings. Peanut, as our ring bearer in a tiny suit looking like a little adult, trotted over on short legs to deliver the rings. He handed them to us, then cleared his throat, imitating the officiant, and announced loudly, "Now, Dada can kiss Mama." I laughed out loud and lowered my head to kiss my bride. After the wedding, I thought my miserable life was finally over. Turns out I was too naive. Wedding night, I was holding my fragrant wife, ready to fulfill some husbandly duties. Victoria handed me a document. Another document. My PTSD nearly flared up. Postnuptial Asset Agreement and Family Conduct Code. I opened it. Article 1. All assets under Jack Turner's name, including but not limited to future royalties, investment income, etc., belong to Victoria Sterling. Article 2. Jack Turner receives a monthly allowance of $2,000, distributed by Victoria Sterling on time. Excess spending must be reported. Article 3. Jack Turner must hug his wife and child once daily and say, "I love you." Article 4. In case of an argument, regardless of who is right or wrong, Jack Turner must apologize first. Another 99 dense clauses. I finished reading and snapped the agreement shut. Wife. Did you forget? I'm your legal husband now. So, according to marriage laws, I also have the right to draft an agreement. I pulled a document I had prepared long ago from the nightstand. Key guidelines for improving Ms. Victoria Sterling's happiness. Victoria paused, then took it. Article 1 is, Victoria Sterling's daily working hours shall not exceed 8 hours. Bringing work home is prohibited. Article 2 is, Victoria Sterling must engage in an entertainment activity she enjoys at least once a week, accompanied by Mr. Jack Turner. Article 3. If Ms. Victoria Sterling encounters any difficulties, she must inform Mr. Jack Turner immediately. Handling it alone is prohibited. Article 4 is, Victoria Sterling must smile at least 3 times a day. Execution supervised by Mr. Jack Turner. She read them one by one, her eyes reddening again. Jack, wife, before, you protected me, and no. I hugged her from behind. From now on, it's my turn to protect you guys. I love you. She turned around and kissed me. Outside the window, the moonlight fell gently upon us. I knew my good days weren't over. They were just beginning. Story complete.